into the online broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello, AfterBuzz TV Gala Band fans. I'm your host, Jackie Borowski, and with me I have a very special guest from Gala Band, Karen David, who plays Isabella.
Yay!
Yay! And with us, we also have Blake McIver and Michelle Cullen.
Hello, hello.
Hi. Before we dig into this episode, Karen, where can they find you on Twitter?
So I'm at Karen David.
Okay, and Blake and Michelle?
And I'm at Blake McIver.
And I'm at Michelle_Cullen.
And I'm at 123Jackie_B. If you need the spelling of Jackie, we'll talk about that later.
It's unique.
It's unique.
That's the best
I get
way to
called
be.
Jacques a lot, which is a little embarrassing and tough, but it's a cross we have to bear.
Yes.
So we have two great episodes tonight. We have Giants versus Dwarves, and then About Last Night. Let's start with the first episode. In the first episode, we have Richard, Roberta, Gallivant, my new favorite, Tad Cooper.
Oh, yes.
He's stealing the show.
He is stealing the
You
show.
know?
This is a question I had. Is Tad Cooper from anything, or he just came up with this name?
They came up with this brilliant idea to, as if you've seen the episodes, if you're listening online, Tad Cooper, obviously Richard likes to think it's a dragon.
Right.
But it's a lizard, iguana thingy.
Yeah.
And the writers thought it'd be really funny to give it a cat, our showrunner. She was saying that it was just very random. They were just coming up with names, and it just it was one of those names that just came up on the writing room desk, and yeah, there it was, Tad Cooper. And it's got such a ring to it.
It does. It sounds like a 1930s film star.
Exactly.
Like,
Right?
totally.
It sounds
Stage
so
name.
official. I was
Did you
like,
see that new Tad Cooper film?
yeah, that's right. I kept thinking, I'm like, this has to be something. It has to be something. But
Yeah.
it's actually even better and more Gallivant that it's like not anything at all.
yeah.
It's just Tad Cooper.
Yeah.
And he sings this beautiful song for his dragon, Tad Cooper.
Gosh, I love that song.
And I don't know if are you a Game of Thrones fan?
Oh yeah, huge.
Well, it's funny because I wonder, are the writers Game of Thrones fans? Because they seem to be doing all these like little Game of Thrones things. And to me, that was a Game of Thrones moment where he's like, I have this baby dragon and I'm going to sing to it and nurture it.
Just his Khaleesi moment.
Yes.
well, they're all disguised as like die-hard Game of Thrones fans, and then they try to find any opportunity to just sneak in a little, throwback to any of the Game of Thrones things. I mean, when we were filming in Morocco, towards the end of this season, at one moment we're in the desert against the Atlas Mountains, and we're in these huge battle scenes, and we're like, okay, this is really Game of Thrones, and you haven't told us the truth. This is really a medieval comedy, let alone musical. Are you sure about that? Because it's feeling very Game of Thrones.
And if it is Game of Thrones, it's time to renegotiate.
Exactly.
Like, that's
Yes,
that's above my pay grade right now.
I want to meet Khaleesi. It's
Right?
like, come on, where is she? Yeah.
You guys film in Morocco, and Game of Thrones films in the same location in Morocco, don't they?
They did. I don't know if they still are, but I know they did. And the grounds where we were filming are legendary. We filmed at the exact same location where Lawrence of Arabia filmed, Game of Thrones, also Kingdom of Heaven. I mean, if the sand could talk.
Seriously.
Can you imagine? All the juicy stories. And all the spoilers, too.
Seriously.
I mean...
But they're filming at several locations. So you have your team filming in Morocco, but where are Gallivant and Sid and all the others. They're filming in England, aren't they?
Yeah, we all filmed in England first. So we were around Bristol, Wales, the Cotswolds, anything that's Jane Austen land, really, because it's so picturesque and beautiful, and they're the real deal. A lot of people ask, are those sets? Are they sets? And we're like, no, that's a real castle. And that adds to I think the beauty of just that makes the whole storylines, just jump out of the screens because of those beautiful backdrops. So we're filming all over. We were filming. Well, I wasn't. This season, Isabella is not on the journey. But they went to Puzzlewood. I mean, I just love the name of it.
Yeah, that's fabulous.
These beautiful backdrops and the greenery. I mean, you just think it's a painting or something, but it's actually real.
One thing I love about Brits and England in general is that they're game for the fun. So if you're saying, I'm filming this like zany comedy medieval song show, they're so game for that they're like, yeah, film here, film in this castle. Because I remember when I was younger and I would tour the castles there, they were like, yeah, come see this, come try this. And I was like, this is awesome. If this was America, and I'm an American, and not that I'm like crapping on my own culture, but like if this was America, we would have erected a shrine to it and been like, don't touch that. Don't touch that.
You can't be here.
You can't be here.
There would be a velvet rope erected in front of the door
Yes.
with a do not enter sign hanging.
exactly.
And you'd be like, how much trouble would I get in?
Right.
You would be in jail.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, there was a point, like, I was filming at Caldecott Castle, and it's so beautiful inside, and if the walls could speak, I mean, it's just so much history embedded in such a monumental, area. And so just going into the rooms, you could just feel this energy. And to be able to film in those places is just so special. But yeah, I just think the rooms are very cold.
Yeah.
So
yes.
there's
No
a
kidding.
picture. I kid you not. So my costume lady, she was grabbing my costumes and everything. We went to this room up in the castle, which was so sweet. I was like, I just wanted to ask tons of questions, like who lived here? What happened in this room? Because you can just feel a lovely energy there. So there was a heater on the ground, and I was warming up my chicken fillets by the heater. And so literally when she walked in, I turned around like red-handed. I was like, oh. and then she took this picture, which I posted on my Instagram. It was so funny. It was like, oh yeah, it's cool when you're warming up your chicken fillets.
I have a funny but random story. I took my boyfriend to a tapestry exhibit, and
a tapestry exhibit.
yes, they have one at
That's so cool.
at the Getty.
Yeah.
At the Getty right
Okay.
now, a Louis XIV tapestry exhibit.
Oh,
wow.
Actually, I kind of
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
go.
it's really awesome. But I took him there, and he didn't know what tapestries were, so he's like, they're stretching out these rugs, and they're ruining them. And I'm like, no, that's what they do. Like, the rugs hang. And he's like, why would you do that? And he's from Central America, so they don't have tapestries there.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I was like, they're to keep people warm in castles because castles are freaking cold. And he's like, I had no idea.
I love the fact that you just said, I went to go look at tapestries. It sounds so cultured and so refined.
I ended up there quite by accident because I was told there would be a light show at the Getty at night, and so then I ended up with the tapestries because I came for a light show. So I'm
Bonus.
less cultured than you think.
Well, Sid had a lot of tapestries when we were at Sydneyland last year.
I miss
yes.
Disneyland.
Yes, I want to go back
I
to
miss
Disneyland.
His parents were great,
Oh
weren't
my
they?
gosh.
Yes.
Such a riot.
Hilarious.
That
Good
is one
times.
of the places I miss. That is definitely one of the places I miss. So we have your character at the end of the 2 episodes comes out of the spell with Wormwood, but amidst the spell with Wormwood,
I could tell you guys just love that bit when she's under the spell.
Oh,
yes.
We had a good time with Prancabella.
Principella.
I'm sure it was fun to play because your character is kind of like the straight man in a zany character play.
Yeah.
So you have all these I love the scenes with you and the chef because you're like. I mean, not that there's any reasonable character in Gallivant, but you're the more reasonable character, and the chef is kind of like, so you have to play this kind of more straight character. But for once, you don't have to do that.
No.
You can be the zany character just like all the others.
You know, most of the time, Isabella is the frustrated character. Frustrated with the people that are around
Right,
her.
right.
You know, in season 1, she's frustrated with the situation of being trapped in this cellar. And then King Richard giving her ultimatums, and then also being frustrated with Gallivant. And, you know, even with Sid, that dynamic between the trio, you know, they were like, they were bickering like husband and wife, you know, it was so funny. So she's constantly frustrated. That's quite funny in itself. So it was so nice to be under a spell and to play a very not so Izzy kind of mode. You know, it's a different side to her, very girly and loves girly, pretty floral thingies, and which is so not her. I mean, she's ridiculously happy. It was actually quite scary.
I do know. Well, it's funny that you say that's so not her thing, because there were some fans who, because they see Isabella as this like feminist model in there, for me, I thought, okay, this is a plot line. It's clearly got to end at some point, you know, and she's got to be coming back to be real Isabella. But there were some fans that were like, oh, I'm so annoyed that she's trapped. And I'm like, guys, it's just enjoy the ride, you know?
yeah.
Enjoy the ride.
And there were a lot of fans that were really not cool with, and they just tweet not cool, not cool, you know. They were
aggressive.
they were very adamant about it. But I mean, I was having a chat yesterday at our tweeting party. Every Sunday we do a tweeting party, and Kat and John, our showrunners and exec producers, you know, we were having a chat about I remember when I was getting married, and Kat was talking about when she was, you know, getting married. Not that we all become bridezillas, but normally it wouldn't bother me how many floral petals were on a wedding cake or a cake, right? But when you get married, all of a sudden those little details become such big things. And because it's so stressful, because you're working yourself up to this day, this big day, you want it to be special, you kind of then become a whole other persona. You become that person who talks about their wedding 24/7, you know? And in a way, with Isabella, I think it was a blessing in disguise. I know fans might not agree with that, but for me personally, looking from the outside in, it was a blessing in a way for Izzy, because this is the first time that we're seeing Isabella heartbroken and devastated. And in season 1, you remember that conversation her and Gallivant had in the beginning at the tavern, when he says he comes from a lineage of family members that when they fall hard. And I think with Isabella, in so many ways she can relate to that, because I don't think she's ever loved to this degree with Gallivant's probably her one true love and her first big love. So she's fallen so hard, and saying that because she thinks she's been dumped.
That scene.
Poor reception.
Amulet call, you know? It just totally sucks. They were so mad. It's so funny to see on Twitter all the fans get more frustrated. Like, I feel really bad for the fans right now, because the first time they're like, when they saw the amulet call going wrong, they were like, no, not cool, right? And then the second time, when you know, she's put under this evil spell, they're so upset about that. And then of course the big spoiler at the end, what happens with Gallivant, they were like, okay, definitely not cool. And I was like, okay, but it's a different Isabella, and I think it's refreshing to see her in such a different light. We all have been heartbroken and gone in a bit of a funk, and that's where she's at. So in a way, that spell kind of took her mind off it, literally.
Yeah. And so she goes, because she's now become the Bridezilla to kill all Bridezillas. She goes to Princess Jubilee, and she marches into her castle, wondering why she hasn't RSVP'd. And Jubilee has this great song about how that's not her thing.
Yeah.
She's like the rebel princess. Yes. And I think the thing that shocked me most, aside from the fact that this song is just a blast, the thing that shocked me the most was that she said ass on television. I was like,
Are you allowed to do that?
I'd love that, Disney. We're okay with that.
yeah. Well, we were saying this at the beginning of this season. It's like, Gallivant goes where ABC and Disney will not go. Like, they have that whole gay bar scene, which
Oh my gosh, that was amazing.
Wasn't that
Still one of my
great?
Just
favorites.
amazing. Yeah.
like Disney would never go there except for Gallivant.
Yep.
They let Gallivant go there, which is a blast. It must be a blast to be on a show that will let you go there.
Just the attention to detail. Like, I think it was called West Hollywood or something. It's so great. It's like these little, little attention to details. It's
amazing.
Just, sometimes you got to watch it a few times to catch it. And I was like, oh yeah, because this time all of us are split up in 3 different groups. So we didn't get to really see what each other was doing. So watching the episodes now, we're like, oh, so that's what you did? That looks amazing.
Right.
And you're like, oh my gosh, it's so funny. You guys must have had such a good time because we were so split up.
Right.
Yeah.
So later on in the episode, we have Gareth and Sid, and then we have Madalena. I'm sorry, I'm switching back to my notes.
I have to say, I love that bromance between. The first
Yes.
was Gallivant and Richard, but
Yes.
then Gareth and Sid.
Yes.
I love that.
Learning
The
the
most
bro code.
unlikely.
That's what I was
bromances.
looking for.
Yes.
The bro code.
Bro code.
So he goes to him and he's like, "Let me tell you about the bro code." And then Gareth says, "Is that a black thing?"
I love that.
And again,
I love
it's
that.
like Gallivant went there. Like
Yeah.
Totally.
ABC has such a hard time going there, but Gallivant was like, "No, we're gonna make that joke."
Yeah.
And so he explains to him that how not cool Madalena is and how she's probably gonna break his heart. But then it turns out Gareth goes and tells Madalena literally everything.
And then some.
and then
right?
some. And
Might have made a little bit up.
and
Yeah.
we end up with the episode where Sid is chased out of the castle.
There's a song that you guys won't know that Alan Menken and Glenn Slater wrote during the scene where Madalena wants to give him the perfect birthday gift. And so they go to the tavern. And so there was a song they wrote called Your Mother is a Whore.
Amazing.
And it was so funny because every second word was bleeped. In fact, it is in the book of records at Disney offices for having the most bleeps.
Aww.
Oh my gosh.
And it's
That's
it's,
fantastic.
it's Garrett singing and every like do bleep ba ba bleep ba ba bleep bleep bleep. It's just all that. It's so
Amazing.
funny. But of course that's one thing that no we couldn't do.
Didn't
Yeah.
make
Sounds
the
really
air.
good.
It's so good. Yeah, they've
Oh.
got to put like in extras snippets. You know.
Yes.
from-
Yes.
Bonus
Yeah.
features.
Yes,
Yeah.
bonus
Deleted
features or
scenes.
bonus songs. At this point, I just want to take a little break to thank our fans who are watching live on YouTube, and thank you to the people who have commented on YouTube and on iTunes. We had one commenter, I thought you would appreciate this. Their name is the Star of Awesomeness, which in general is a
Love
great,
it.
it's a
Yeah.
great
Love it.
handle.
Yeah.
Yes.
But they said that Gallivant, our after show, is their favorite after show.
Really?
So they not only
Cute.
are they huge Gallivant fans, but they love this after show out of
That's
all the after
awesome.
shows we have,
So
which
sweet.
we really appreciate that here. I'm
Yes.
glad you guys enjoyed
That
it.
means a lot.
Yay.
Yeah.
And we
We
had
like her or
we-
him.
or him, yes.
Yes.
I don't know.
We like you.
Yes.
And then we have YouTube commenters. I want to shout out to Mark, to Ren, who pointed out that that Game of Thrones and Gallivant shot in the same location in Morocco. Gus Fadden, Echo Wall. Sorry, I'm running down my Mermaid Loves Squirrel. Oh no, it was actually Mermaid Loves Squirrel who pointed out the castle thing, and it was Ren pointed out a Game of Thrones, another Game of Thrones reference with. They actually said, if this was Game of Thrones, Gallivant would have been killed off.
Oh.
And then tonight's episode aired, and I
Oh.
was like, "You killed Gallivant."
Yes.
Yeah, you're a witch or a warlock, whoever you are.
Our Twitter feeds just exploded last night.
Yeah.
Oh,
I can
bet.
imagine.
And all the Galabella fans, oh my gosh, they were freaking out. They were like, "No, you can't do that. They need to be together and all that." And it was so we felt so bad. And they're like, yeah.
Well, yeah, and I was checking Twitter last night, and I didn't get to watch the episodes until today because I watched them on Hulu as well, and it was just full of Gallivant, and I was like, I can't do social media tonight. Something happened.
Yeah.
Something big.
Something big has happened.
Yeah. Yeah. and no
am I-
one saw it coming.
No one saw it coming. No. My
Especially
last shout
Gallivant.
out is to Noor Ahmed, who wanted me, because I guess I skipped the wedding planning song in the last recap, and they love that song, so they wanted me to mention it.
Oh my god, we had so much fun with that. That took all our musical numbers takes about a day, maybe a day and a half to film. So they're quite elaborate. And we all tweeted each other the next day from bed. Like we all slept in. We're like, "Can you move?" "No, I can't move." Like my muscles are sore. Yeah, my muscles are sore too. It was all that conga line dancing. And,
Right.
You know,
Right.
it's just and one more tidbit was, you know, before the conga line, you know, when they put the tiara on Isabella, when Wormwood puts it. So Ashley, who's our amazing choreographer, he makes us look good all the time. He really does. But in this case, in this one instance, he said, "Can you do some really bad dancing?" And I said, "Oh, I am a bad dancer anyway, so that shouldn't be a problem." He said, "Well, why don't you just show me what you do?" And so I kind of went into a panic.
Oh, no.
And then I texted my husband in between takes, and he was like, "Why don't you just do the cheesy dance moves that you do for me at home?" And I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, you know, something should just stay behind closed doors. But he's like, "No, do that." So it's exactly what all that Isabella was doing with the grinding and like,
Yes.
you know, and I was doing Saturday Night Fever, and I was
That's
all
amazing.
that. That's how that happened.
So you choreographed
beautiful.
that.
Yeah,
It's really what it
you should get
is.
credit for that.
Additional
was like-
choreography by Karen
Yep.
Davis.
I was just like, I thought Ashley will never talk to me ever again after this, but he said, "No, I don't want to touch that." I'm like, "Is that good or bad?" He goes, "It's good because it's so bad."
It's
and I'm like, "Okay,
perfect.
this is great."
That's amazing.
You know what's funny is when you watch shows like this, you always think they look so effortless that it must be effortless. And I'm glad that you pointed out, like, no, this is really hard and I was really tired. Like, it takes a lot of work to put on a singing, dancing show like this.
It's all the energy, because you need that energy to make it feel alive and to carry through the screens. You know, you want people to want to go on a conga line in their living
Yes.
rooms across
Right.
America, you know, and join in. So everyone's just giving it their all. I think that's what's just so electrifying about being this on the show. You will never not hear any of us on the cast or crew say that, you know, this has just been the most special journey that we've all been on. And yes, we are having the time of our lives. We're laughing so much in between takes, shaking our heads in disbelief, saying, "We actually get paid to do this. I get paid to do bad dancing. That's brilliant."
It's amazing.
You know?
That's awesome. So now we're moving on to our second episode, which is About Last Night. I want to start with, okay, you know what I liked about both these episodes? I scanned over the Giants versus the Dwarves in the last episode, but that song was hilarious to me
The
because
West Side Story,
Yes.
like gift from the musical theater gods. Like, thank you, Alan Menken.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
it was hilarious because the minute they were like snapping and singing, I was like, oh my gosh, they're doing a West Side Story song. And there was a lot of homage in these two episodes too.
There was also a
Theater.
Newsies homage in the West Side number when
Was
she
there?
was when she was standing up against the tree singing the like descant opposite the melody. That was just like Patrick's mother from Newsies. I was like, I see you, Alan Menken. I see you. I see what you gave me, Patrick's mother. Very exciting personal moment for me.
But I love those moments because it's exactly, there was Les Mis.
There
and
was.
this-
That
there's
is-
Oliver,
yes.
Oliver as well.
So much Oliver,
You know?
yeah.
Yes. And that, I mean, these are the kind of fans who watch this. So for us, we're like, yes, you did that and you did it well. But I love the fact that you think that the giants and dwarves are actually going to be giants or dwarves, and they're all around 5'10".
Yeah, yeah.
Regular sized men.
Regular sized men who built a bridge to nothing and over nothing, which was also amazing. I don't know if you've seen Robin Hood Prince of Thieves, but I am a huge fan of Robin Hood Prince of Thieves. So that bridge reminded me of when they have that fight over the bridge that's over like a lake that's probably an inch tall.
Right.
And he's like, I can't swim! That's what it reminded me of. They were building this bridge and they fight basically for nothing.
It was so funny. I wasn't there for those scenes, but from everyone what they were saying to us, you know, during the week about those scenes, and Nick Frost, who we had on, is
yes.
so brilliant and so funny. Tim was saying it was really difficult to keep straight.
And his
I can
name was
imagine.
Andre for the episode, which was just so perfect.
Yes!
Oh, yes.
Going with what you said on the West Hollywood, like,
Yeah.
I love so much how great this show is at doing those little quips and those little hidden details that just make you laugh a little bit more, and having someone who's I think he's actually 5'7". He's he's a little shorter, and he was playing the head giant,
Yes.
and his name was Andre, and I was like, this is perfect.
Amazing.
I do love, though, I think part of the reason why the fans got so upset about Isabella is the show, the characters, as far as brains, it seems the women are the smartest on the show. I mean,
I'd
all
like
of
to
the
think
characters are a blast, but the women seem to be the smartest on the show.
100%. Yes.
So when you have Bobby or Roberta, when you have her coming in and being like, why are you fighting? Like, what is this? And she finally just knocks down the bridge and makes it all the same size.
I did love that. That she was just like, oh,
Yes, you're like, this is the only sane voice, because they don't have Isabella with them anymore to be the sane voice. They have to have some other woman come in and be like, what's going on?
Goodness for Roberta to be the voice of reason in that trio, in that dynamic.
Indeed.
And Claire Foster, who is so lovely and adorable and wonderful as a human being, and on top of that, so bloody talented. We were just talking about, how maybe... hopefully we go to season 3. It would be so great if they could become, Roberta and Isabella could become BFFs.
Oh, that
I
was
would
wonderful.
that.
I would love to see that.
Right? Don't you think?
Just the girl power duets alone would just
Yes.
be
Oh my gosh.
all my life.
Yes.
They need girl power, and because Madeleine is becoming more evil and evil by the minute.
Yes.
So, Izzy needs some backup here.
Yes.
And I think the two of them would be brilliant.
I think so too. I think so
Absolutely.
too. So in About Last Night, we have Sid's Les Mis song,
Oh, everything.
which
Down
the
to the
more
red
I watched
flag.
it, I was
love
like,
it so much.
I was like, Sid, you're making these people not want to join you. Stop that. Stop that. And they're all dropping off. It did remind me, this was like my postmodern meta reference, because in South Park they have that song that's like, though you die, the resistance lives on.
Yes.
Right.
So that was a Les Mis homage, and I
Uh-huh.
was like, this is just like that, where he's singing these songs to them, and he's basically being like, the outcome will be terrible. Come with me, and they keep running off until he's all by himself.
waving that red flag.
Yep.
wasn't
Just
it-
little Gavroche at the
Yes.
top of the pile.
Yes,
This was definitely Sid's moment in the sun.
Yes.
And what a glorious moment. Like, we were so excited for Luke and for his character, because this is the stuff that in musical theatre auditions, they're going to be singing this song.
Oh,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yes.
But I cannot wait, because can you imagine at castings of them doing that line when Sid sings to Pee and Pooh?
yes.
I howled with laughter. Like, that was so funny.
Amazing.
It was so funny.
Yeah.
And I
Amazing.
even wondered, like, that was written in there. It wasn't an improv. Because it was like the way he does it was so, like, I was like, he is in this.
Right? And they
He's
were
in it
all
to
like
win
doing it at the same time to Pee and Pooh, and in his face. Luke is so brilliant. I mean, just the
is.
expressions. He's so, the energy that he gives to Sid, I mean, it's so special, and it's so wonderful to watch too.
It was hilarious. And then we have Richard, Roberta, and Gallivant meet up at Gallivant's father, Arnold. And I wrote some Oliver orphans.
Exactly. That covers it.
Because basically Gallivant has said that his dad was never there for him in life. He was a horrible womanizer. And these orphans are like, no, he saved us. He gave us your old clothes. And there's this scene of, I guess the dad made all these tapestries of Gallivant's going-ons. So he had been kind of watching him from afar, but he did have some regret over being an absent father, and so he adopted all these orphans.
I thought that was such a nice moment
It
between
was.
Gallivant and his dad, especially when he starts singing,
Yeah.
goes through the tapestries and everything. It was so beautiful. And that moment in the end, well, I'll be there for you. And he says, go find your princess and marry her, and be the father and the husband that I never was. I mean, it's such a sweet moment. I had a lump in my throat. I'm such a sucker for a good story.
No, it
Oh,
was
it's
great.
fantastic.
Powerful.
Well, I
It was a
love that
great moment.
they found a way to make the parent that saves the newspaper clippings into a medieval
Yes.
context. Like,
Yes.
I saved all your tapestries
saved
of
all
the
your
things that you
tapestries.
Made all of
accomplished.
these. This is the
Like-
one where you were waiting to play cabbage with me, but I was off somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yes.
Aw.
Memories.
Yeah.
And then they play cabbage.
They finally
I
got their
know,
cabbage
yes.
game.
I just love the fact that he says, I can't express myself. You know what us heroes are like. We we only express ourselves through tapestry. I just thought that was so exquisite. Like,
I loved it.
we should do that today. In
should.
today's modern day, we
true.
should
Take a page out of Louis XIV's book.
Yes.
Yes.
Those tapestries, mind you, they're in tip-top condition. They are incredible.
Yeah.
They're just beautiful.
See, if I did a tapestry now, it'd be like stick people.
Yeah,
That's it.
exactly.
Yeah, mine would look like a bad cross stitch.
When we were looking at them, my boyfriend was like, you have to think, like, these people don't have, like, the tools we have today. And look at what they were able to do. And they're in such good shape. You know, it was just phenomenal. I recommend it. Don't go to the Getty for the lights. Go for the tapestries. There were really no Christmas lights anyway. I felt like I was duped into seeing really fabulous tapestries, but it was okay.
Still a
it was
win.
okay.
Still a win.
So we have Garrett's birthday, and Madalena wants to make him have the perfect birthday party. I love how he gets surprised and kills some people at the beginning of the surprise.
Yep, we just don't acknowledge after that. Just death and destruction, moving on.
Yes, and so what he really wants is he wants to be in a bar fight, essentially. He wants to get a scar from a bar fight. So she takes him to a local tavern where nobody wants to fight him because he's the king. So, and then we had the missed song about mom horse.
Which is too bad.
I know.
That is
Yes.
a shame.
It was
Well, because
a
I still
shame.
cracked up when the old lady mom stood up.
She's like,
yes,
it's
I
true,
am. It's
I
true. I did sell myself.
I think the bar scene was where my favorite little line came, the Red Candle District.
Oh,
I
yes.
caught that. It was one of those things that was said, and then it took me a beat, and I was like, wait a minute.
I like the other reference in the previous two episodes where he's like, we'll take you to a candlelit dinner, which is basically any dinner.
Yep.
Yeah.
So any restaurant? Yep.
Pretty much anywhere.
So we leave off in the episode. We have tons of cliffhangers. We don't know what's going to happen to Sid because he's back. He's essentially back in the arms of the people who want him ousted. Oh no, he's not. Oh my gosh, my brain just died. They went to that. What was that land? The land of convenience.
The Forest of Coincidence.
Forest of
The
Coincidence.
Forest of Coincidence.
That's right. He did make it.
Which was brilliant.
Which we have this brilliant plot device because Wormwood has been ousted, and so he is traveling to Valencia to meet up with Madalena and Gareth to start a useless war. And
Like you do.
and they give Sid enough information to understand that he needs to go tell Gallivant that the message to Isabella got messed up. So he heads over there, and then he accidentally kills Gallivant.
Maybe.
Which is, I mean, I know that you can't say any spoilers, but we had a lot of, like, after this happened, I had a lot of fans, like, write speculations. One fan was suggesting that maybe the Richard's sword could help him in some manner or another. It would seem a bummer to lose him, considering the show is called Gallivant.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
It is a fairy tale. Anything is possible, is what we've been telling the fans. And because we are heavily influenced in a wonderful way by Game of Thrones, you never know who's gonna go.
Right. It was just the Jon Snow moment.
yeah,
know,
it was a Jon
We just
Snow
have to
moment.
live in that moment for a week, not a whole season break,
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah, there's a lot of fans that thought, is this another dream sequence? Did that really happen? And it's, you want to tell them, but you're like, no, we can't ruin it for them,
no.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's anything is possible. And I think with, a lot of the fans have been so upset because Isabella and Gallivant haven't found their way to each other yet. But I wasn't joking. When we started doing press in the beginning, I warned all the fans. I said, listen, those two, Gallivella, FYI, they are faced with a lot of challenges, and so now they know a lot of obstacles.
Don't expect it in episode 2.
He's just mostly dead. That's the other thing it reminds me of.
Oh,
Well, it's pretty
right.
serious
Just a
because
flesh
it just
wound.
went, it
Just
just went
through
right.
his heart.
It went
Yes.
right. There was
Maybe
no.
not.
It wasn't like a severed arm or something. It
No,
was definitely
it was
through his chest.
Gutted.
Yep.
But and this happens just as your character gets out from under her spell. So she's swords a-blazing, ready to take on her destiny.
Oh, she's on a mission now. She is. First of all, she's so royally peeved, and then some at Wormwood, and what he's doing, and she realizes his agenda. So banishes him. He's gone. But then her main thing now is to look at, okay, we're in Hortensia, we need to put this right, and we need to get out of here and make sure that her parents reclaim their throne in Valencia. So there's all that. I mean, as an actor, it's just when they told me my storylines, I mean, it was such a gift because, again, you see Isabel in the beginning as this distressed, frustrated, heartbroken young woman who's in love and torn apart from her true love, and then she goes through this evil spell where she's ridiculously happy, and then comes out of the spell, and now she realizes that there has to be an afterlife without Galavant, because she thinks, as far as she's concerned, they're done.
Yeah.
He broke up with her. Yes, she's mad. She's gone through the different stages of grieving.
All the grief.
She did.
Right?
She replayed it over and over.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh. And
Yes.
so now she it's about a coming of age for her, where she now has to find her own strength and find her own grounding as a person, and that's so beautiful to watch, and at the same time so exciting and scary for me to have played in a wonderful way, because she's going to be faced with even more challenges now, because she's very much on her own, and the fans will see why. Obviously with Gal and his state of affairs.
And she broke up. I mean, she rightfully broke up the wedding with her cousin, her juvenile.
And she's one bra short.
That was, you know what's interesting though is
does she actually get to have?
my
in
whole
medieval
reaction
times?
to that scene was, I was like, she's wearing a corset because it's medieval times, so she doesn't have a bra. Because they keep talking.
You little creep.
I know. I was like, let me tell you something.
Kamal, who plays Harry, first of all, he is such a genius of an actor, and so funny. He is a little man, and he speaks so eloquently, and his sense of wit and timing, you're like, how old are you? And he's so brilliant. And so they made him do some takes when we were doing the bra thing, and it was so difficult for Genevieve and Stanley, who play my parents, and I, to keep such a straight face, because he was doing, yes, we got the bra. But then there was another moment he did, because they said, can you do something else? And he improv'd and literally said, I got the bra. Yeah. And I was just
Amazing.
like, oh my gosh, how am I going to keep a straight face? Between him and Robert Lindsay, who plays Wormwood brilliantly, because when Izzy banishes Wormwood, he goes through this like bipolar kind
Yeah.
of...
Oh, I loved that.
I
so
appreciated
much.
that so much, because you can tell he really cares about weddings.
Well,
and
and
the
we
attention
know,
to detail.
and we know that the one true sword is the only thing that can kill him.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which was being used to smash walnuts in.
Yeah. Isn't that cool?
I love that cutaway where he's making it sound so majestic, like, this is the only thing that can kill me, and Richard's like, yeah.
See, a sword can be a nutcracker.
Yes.
Really
Yes.
good for pounding.
So I want to get into asking you questions. Our main question here was, do you guys sing live while you tape?
So we do, but what the process, it starts off in the beginning, before we start filming the whole series, is we're given music for usually the first 4 episodes, and we go into the studio and we record. So we do record our tracks, and they just keep that as a safeguard. So by the time we get to filming, we know the songs really well, and we sing live. We have to sing live because when you're in a forest with birds chirping in the background, you can't replicate that, So really, if you can sing live, they will take the live track. Sometimes they'll mix both, where it'll be some of the recording, especially when you're galloping on a horse and you don't want to sound like so they might take the recorded track bits, and then they'll take some of the live elements of it too.
Because I was actually thinking about, because Blake made a comment about how Kylie Minogue's scene was so dance heavy that it's like there are certain scenes where you're watching, and like you're seeing that one scene that is very dance heavy with Wormwood. There are certain scenes you're watching and you're like, I don't know how they could sing live during these certain parts.
Right.
And then there are other parts where the scene, the best worst kiss, where you're just stationary. So you're like, okay, I can see where this one could be a live take.
Yeah.
Well, and the sound editors are doing such a good job of using that composite sound, because it sounds so seamless, and we do really
does.
believe that you are wherever you are. So
Yes,
it's a great,
is-
and there's
that's
never
good.
any weird like movie musical transition where it's like we're starting to sing and the quality of the voice shifts so
Right.
dramatically. They've done such a brilliant job
Yes.
of like keeping the integrity of all of your voices intact.
No, this is not Bye Bye Birdie.
Press play.
That's exactly what I think of when I think of Bye Bye Birdie. It's that old timey like boop,
press
the record
play.
button goes now.
No, we're so grateful to have such a brilliant team. I mean, all of them just work so hard to make us look good. And but if they can take the live track, they will always go for the live track. So
And it's also,
Love it.
I mean, we were saying that like when you watch you guys when we're watching you, you are like you can see your muscles straining to sing.
yeah,
So
no, you have to sing live because you do not want to look like Britney Spears when she's lip
Right.
singing. Like over it just
Exactly.
like, and you forget. So it's just better to sing live. And we have earwigs, and what happens is we'll do when we're recording and taping live. They'll have a track on loudspeakers, which is great because then you can sort of hide and everyone's listening to the music. But then they'll do a take where the music's just in your earwig, so
Oh.
everyone just only hears your voice. You feel so incredibly naked.
Oh, I bet.
Like,
Oh my
That's
goodness.
horrifying.
Because if there's a flat note, oh boy, do you hear that flat
Yeah.
note when you're, like.
Well, that's
doing
even
a twirl.
scarier than live theater because you still have the
Yeah.
orchestra in in a live theater situation. That's even worse. That's
Oh my goodness.
the most exposed.
Yeah, there's no hiding, because everyone can hear you. So it's like, okay, can we do that again, please?
Wow.
Well, I mean, we talked a little bit earlier about the best worst kiss song, and that's actually like your only scene with Gallivant in this season. Was it weird filming because last season you guys were with a totally separate group of actors? Was it weird being stuck in basically a dollhouse for most of the season?
gosh. I have to confess, the first few episodes being stuck in that pink room, I tell you, first of all, it was boiling hot in that room. And Darren and Ben, we were all just like, wow. I mean, it was really hot. I mean, I literally, and I said, you're doing this on purpose so that I do really go insane and want to like crawl out of this room because I felt it, when I was in there, when the doors closed especially, like, wow, this is really claustrophobic.
Yeah.
But it's good. It helped me bring out my my frustration even more. And I missed so much of not being on location this season, especially for a big chunk of it. Because last season, Luke and Josh and I, we were all on location all the time. So I did miss that a lot. I mean, I remember being on the phone with Josh and Luke, and I said, I miss you guys. I really, really miss you guys. And they're like, yeah, I miss you too. And we're like, yeah, we need to fight more and like have those, bickering dynamics and everything. But when we did World's Best Kiss, Josh and I are just so grateful to have such amazing songs. All of us are, to have songs written especially for our voices from Disney legends, Alan Menken, Glenn Slater. So to have a song like World's Best Kiss and the reprise that Izzy sings when she goes back,
so
I
great.
just... I it's like a dream come true to be able to sing those songs. And Josh and I, that's one thing that we bonded over, having good music, good songs together. Last season and this season as well. So
Yeah, the music is just so consistently great, and you all sound so phenomenal on it. So it's just it's a joy to watch.
our characters, thank you. Our characters talk so much about each other, so much. Like Gallivant's always talking about rescuing Isabella, and for me, it was all about Gallivant this, Gallivant that. So. I think that's how we kind of felt connected and bonded this season.
About referencing each other, yeah. When you're in that scene where you're having the Bad's gem connection,
The amulet
Yeah.
because she wears it all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
All the
Every
time.
day.
All the time.
I loved that.
That's what's in the bra.
Right?
It's the amulet.
The amulet's been
it's
hiding
in
in the
there the
bra
whole
the
yeah,
whole time.
the whole time.
The whole time.
When you have humble B cups, guys, the amulet really helps, so it's just
That extra amulet boost.
an amulet boost, yes. It should have given a bloody boost in the signal there.
Okay.
It didn't.
So when you're acting with that scene, who are you talking with? Like when they film that scene.
So, because that's what I was like wondering. I was like, okay, is Josh literally going to be there? And because he was on location and I'm in a different location shooting. So they said, no, it's literally going to be Seth, our first AD, talking, saying the lines to you. Seth, who's lovely, and did a great job. It was just me staring into this red stone and just imagining that I'm seeing Gallivant there. And it was so funny because he'd say, die in a fart, you brown cow. And when we did the table read, I was waving my tissue, my white tissue, thinking, okay, guys, this is I'm surrendering now. I'm going to like break out into hysterical laughter. And it's not gonna. It's gonna be hard because she has to be brokenhearted. And
Yeah.
it's so
And
hard.
that's hilarious.
And that was hilarious.
And Darren, who plays the chef, who's so wonderful, his expressions are hilarious. So he's like, when he says, wow, blunt, I mean, just the slightest little twitch in his face, and that's it. I can't look at him because it's so funny. And so I'm staring at it thinking, Darren, please, because I can see his reflection on the amulet, and I'm like, Darren, I'm like, don't do that, because like, stop, But it was with great difficulty we did that scene.
Made it through.
I love the interactions between you and the chef that were happening.
So great.
And I also Susanna, who's not here, asked me to ask about she's shipping Jestabella.
Oh yes.
Because
Yes.
it seems like Isabella
She's all about
is starting to have a rapport with the Jester. Do you think there are any Jestabella rumors that are true?
Anything's possible. It seems that Izzy's on a roll here because she's taken all of Madalena's, discards, first and last.
It's sort of true.
It's like she's broken up with the Jester now. It's like, who knows? It might be Gareth next. I don't know. But Izzy and Gareth, I don't know. But this season, it was so wonderful for me because I got to work more with Darren, the chef, and Ben, who plays the Jester, and Genevieve and Stan with my parents. It was a different dynamic, a different group, and they are so brilliant and so funny. And the bond that Izzy and the Jester have, because she's stuck in this castle and they're the only allies that she has that can help her. And there's wonderful moments when the Jester helps her escape. And same thing with the chef saying, I'll slip in some sleepy time pie to get the key. I mean, there's just such wonderful moments between them and Gwyn, Sophie McShare, who plays Gwyn as well. So who knows? I mean, look, Gallivant just got stabbed in the chest, I don't know.
It's all on the table.
Right?
It's all on
It's
the
true.
table.
It's true.
I think Izzy would prefer to date the Jester probably over speed dating, I think.
Yeah.
What would
Well,
speed
and she
dating
doesn't-
even look like in
Well, we
medieval
were
times?
also thinking was that Isabella thinks that Gallivant hates her.
Yeah.
So he wants her to die in a fart.
Yeah.
So it's like
A brown cow. I mean,
Oh,
it's so
how dare.
mean.
How dare.
terrible.
So yeah, she's now that she's out of this spell, she's really determined, and she says to her parents, I'm tired of being controlled by my broken heart, and also with Prince Harry. So now that she's done with all that, she's very much, you're going to see, I think the fans will be very happy because now they will see Izzy coming into her own and taking her rightful place and being this strong princess to help rescue her kingdom and her family.
I like this because it left us at a point where she literally can do anything she wants. She literally can do anything she wants. And so, I mean, I didn't for 1 minute think that Gallivant, meaning the show, was going to let Isabella be like captured in the entire season and then just be like, well, sorry. Oh,
no.
It's not that kind of show.
No.
She's too powerful for
No,
that.
they want to throw as many challenges to Izzy as possible, which is great as an actor to play. And at the same time, there are so much that is relatable about Isabella, even when she's under that spell. She's become a total bridezilla. I know I was a bit when I was planning my wedding and stuff. You get so, like I said, very nitpicky about details. So there's something, different shades of Izzy that I hope everyone can sort of relate to. But yeah, no, Izzy is out of that spell and no more a damsel in distress.
Very good. Do you have a favorite like anecdote? Anecdote. It is anecdote.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm thinking.
Antidote is
Antidote is
the bad
when-
one.
when you're
I mean,
poisoned
the
and-
saving
yeah.
grace one.
I do speak English.
You do.
Do you have a favorite anecdote from set?
Oh my gosh, I don't even know where to start because there's so many funny stories. Okay, this without giving too much away. No, this isn't a spoiler. Now I'm remembering. Sorry, now I'm backtracking. So, oh my god, I'm having an inner dialogue. This is a bit of a giveaway. Okay, no. So I gotta think about this carefully. So there is a moment in the in this Sunday's upcoming episodes where Izzy is having a chat with the whole gang and Hortensia about trying to put things right now that Wormwood is gone. And so we're walking down the Hortensia corridors, and Stanley, who plays my father, stepped on my beautiful train.
Oh.
It was such a funny moment. He stepped on the train. I went flying back.
Oh no.
But it was so funny because it wasn't like it was like, like that kind of thing. And because I'm in heels and I slipped, and all of a sudden he grabs me and goes, bam. Like that.
Oh no.
And I started laughing, and his hands were still there because he was holding me, and he just realized his face was a picture. He was like, oh my gosh. I did that. I just did that. And I looked at him and I said, oh, Daddy.
Amazing. That's fantastic.
The rest of the scene, which you guys will see this weekend, he was mortified and had such a bright red face and could not look. And I was like, we're all family now. It's like, so you're probably touching the fillets anyway, so it's really okay.
Amazing.
Oh my goodness.
Love it.
We're all very close now, so,
Do you have a favorite song from this season?
Oh my gosh. So Tim has some brilliant songs. I love Isabella's songs, and there's a few coming up that I think the fans will hopefully love. But I do love Tim's Dragon Pal song. Mm-hmm. It's so great. It's very sort of Burt Bacharach, the Carpenters.
And it is very Carpenters.
It is.
And
very
so
close to you.
I love it. And so that's one of, by far, hands down, one of my favorites. But I do like the Giants and the Dwarves songs. Mm-hmm. And I do love World's Best Kiss so much.
Yeah.
So, but that's Alan and Glenn for you. They keep writing these brilliant songs, and they get stuck in your head. Have you been singing them all the time?
Oh yes.
Yes. You know what? Though I was saying that when they did the intro song this season instead of the Gallivant song, I was like, but the Gallivant song is stuck in my head perpetually. You can't get rid of it.
We can sing it.
New season, but I don't know the words.
I should know this.
A new season,
which you'll probably recall.
Oh goodness.
But see, it's the Gallivant song. It was funny because even before driving here today, I was like doing dishes and I was like ba 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 ba. But I'm like, this song is so catchy.
When you're doing the high
you.
kicks, the high kicks, right? That's a must.
Oh,
Do the
yeah.
high kicks, yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep,
Yeah.
always.
Yeah, and with preferably chain cuffs on your ankles.
Yes.
Like Isabella.
Even
so,
better.
yeah, I'd be really impressed.
Gotta go for authenticity.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's all the songs are super catchy, and I actually I read somewhere like a gossip site on the internet, or maybe it was Deadline, I don't know, but there was very loose talk of doing a Broadway Gallivant, which if that ever happened, I would be so there.
Oh,
Yes.
front and
So
center.
there.
Front and center.
In a heartbeat.
There have been phone calls placed to Alan's office all the time of wanting to bring it to the schools, put on a production on Broadway. So that would be amazing. I could totally. I think we could all safely say we could see that on Broadway.
yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes. And then, I mean, part of it is that you have now with Gallivant, you have a cross-genre promotion, so it's like not cross-genre, cross-media promotion,
Which would be great.
Which is great because it's like it's already been on ABC, and so then people already know what it is before going to it. Mm-hmm. So
That would be a dream come true. That would be such a dream. If it does go to Broadway and we're doing the show, then we're all curious to know who would play.
yes, yeah.
Right.
It's because we're so obviously so deeply attached to our characters,
Right.
so we're kind of tickled to see, oh my gosh, like who would play Sid,
Yeah.
right?
And it's doubly weird because you guys are Broadway actors for the most part. Mm-hmm. So it's like okay, well, who do you release into Broadway to play what started out as a Broadway role? It's almost like the touring cast.
It could be like reverse Rent. where
There
they
you
got
go.
most of the original Broadway cast to be in the movie.
Yeah.
There you go.
You started out on the show. You should be in the first run on Broadway.
See, I like
That's what
this
I'm
idea.
saying.
I like the way you
Absolutely.
think.
And then I'll
Absolutely.
be in the chorus.
Yes, exactly. And these are
Yes.
very fancy problems to have. So
Yes,
you know.
they are.
But the Gallivant fans have just been so supportive and so passionate, and on behalf of the whole cast and crew and everyone involved, we're just so incredibly grateful for all the support and love, because that's what keeps the show going. And you know, to share their enthusiasm and passion when we see on social media, it's just so wonderful to see.
And it's fun. It's like, part of me wonders how anybody could ever be upset about Gallivant, because it's all in good fun. I mean, it's one of those shows where it's like, it's just a blast.
I mean, even those people who are not into musical theatre necessarily, like my husband, he's not a musical theatre person. He isn't. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Guys and Dolls and West Side Story. And anyway, we'll have another conversation about that. But he loves Gallivant. It's very Monty Python, like we said.
Yeah.
Spamalot.
So fun.
And it's just so endearing and charming. So, you know, I defy, like Tim says, you know, you don't have a soul if you don't like the show.
It's true.
Right? That's from the king, not from me. But, you know.
I agree with that. Maybe.
So we have to wrap up, unfortunately. But
so
do you
went by so
have?
fast.
Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for joining us. Do you have anything else you would like to plug? Website?
So we post away, obviously at Gallivant ABC on Twitter and Instagram. I know a lot of fans, actually, I know we got to wrap. Karen David on Instagram is not very happy about being tagged with my pictures,
oops.
because I joined Instagram too late. So Karen, I'm really sorry, but hey, we share a great name. So on Instagram, I'm at Karen David Official, which I will never hear the end of it from Danny Pudi, because that's all he calls me. Oh, hi, Karen David Official. I'm like, that is so pretentious. Please don't say that. And he's like, I know. So I'm at Karen David Official on Instagram, but on Twitter, I'm at Karen David. I'm on Facebook as well, so I'm pretty good. We're all really good on social media to tweet, and yeah.
And you had a single come out recently, yes?
I'm going back in the studio because I'm on hiatus now.
Awesome.
So I haven't been in the studio for ages. So I'm doing this new song called Daydreamer. I put it out in the UK just a while ago, but now because I'm new to America, so we're putting it out here.
Amazing.
And I'm back in the studio. So
Yay,
yes,
well, congratulations.
I will
I'm
be
super
posting
excited.
away. Thank you.
Thank you. Where can the people find you guys?
You can find me on Twitter at Michelle_Cullen. It's my name.
And everything for me is at Blake MacGyver.
Everything for me is at my website, 123jackieb.com. That's my blog, Twitter, Instagram, etc. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Thank you, Karen, again for joining
Yes,
us.
thank you.
Thank you so much.
And
Love
join
you
us next
guys.
week for our recap of the next 2 episodes of Gallivant.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.